Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be going over some glute exercises. So glute exercises are important for just everyday life as well as your sporting life. Our quads and our hamstrings tend to be very strong muscles on us and they like to overtake. And what happens when that what is a result of that is your glutes like to shut off. This can lead to overuse injuries on your quads, hamstrings, hip flexors. It can lead to fatigue in those muscles, and you might not even know it's happening. So these glute exercises are just great ones to do. It's just kind of maintenance to ensure that those muscles are still firing properly. First one, we're just going to hop onto our back. Okay, so we want our feet to be about hip width apart. Don't want your feet out too far, don't want them too close, kind of just a nice, easy resting position there. So with this, we want to try to avoid our back coming up. So you shouldn't be able to put your hands. So right now I can. So I got to rock my hips back and it's nice and flat. Now I can. This is the position we want to keep. For this exercises, the key will be your core. So you want to suck your belly button in, okay, bringing it back towards your spine. As well as you want to make sure you're squeezing your glutes before you even lift up, okay? So a lot of times what can happen with this is your hamstrings will like to kick in. So if you're not really thinking about it, you might not be firing your glutes as you're doing this. So what you can do for the first while, until you get a feel for it, use your hands, reach into your glutes, feel the activation. Once we feel the activation there, we're going to drive through our heels and we're going to bring our hips up. So how that's going to look, so get the activation there in the glutes, driving through my heels, hips come up. Okay, we want to try to get nice and flat here. Our core is still engaged. We're not arching in our back, nice and flat, and slowly lower ourselves back down. Okay, so we got 10 of these. Squeeze the glutes, up, control back down. And with this too, we want to try to avoid our knees caving in too. So when we push up, we don't want them to come in like this. We want them to keep nice and wide. So that's a big part of squeezing the glutes. If doing it double-legged gets too easy, you want something a bit harder, we can move to a single leg. So that's going to look, one leg's just going to straighten out. Same thing, we want to make sure we're feeling the glute activation. So if I do it this side, still get the same activation before I lift up, coming up, try to stay nice and flat across here and back down. Okay, so if you're doing single leg from this view here, we want to try to avoid this. Shouldn't be twisting. If we're doing this, go back to double leg. Want to be nice and flat, get those hips up, control down. And with this one, we got 10 per side. So squeeze glutes up, control down. Okay, and last progression on that, we go back to double leg. So we're going to come up, but what we're going to do this time is we're going to kick out one leg at a time. We're going to hold for 5 seconds. With this, again, we want to keep our hips nice and flat. No rocking in our hips, nice and flat. We're just going to kick one out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Back in. Shift the weight to that foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we keep alternating like that. For that one, start at about 6 per side. Really focus on quality instead of quantity. And build to about 10 per side. Next exercise, we're going to hop on our side. So if you want, you can get a pillow for underneath your head, whatever you prefer. So we're going to be here on our side. We want to make sure that we're in a straight line. We don't want our legs too far back. We don't want them up forward. We want it nice and straight. That way we're not getting our hip flexors involved in this. We want to turn our toe so it's slightly pointed down. And what we're going to do is we're just going to lift up, slightly, control back down. Okay, nice and easy, up, back down. Don't want our legs too far forward because we do this. We want to flex at the hips. We're now getting hip flexors instead of glutes. Okay, so make sure we're nice and line, up, back down. With this too, you don't want to go too far up in height because then again, you're getting other muscles involved. Just have to go a few inches, control it back down. And feel it right on the side here. And we've got 10 of these per side. Okay, and I'll flip around and show you what it looks like from the other side. So again, making sure I'm in a nice straight line. Toes point down slightly, and coming back up, and back down. Okay, so with that one, again, slow, controlled movement. Not a huge range of motion. We're not trying to go for as high as we can reach our leg for that one. Just working in a nice, good space to get a lot of activation. And like I said, we want to do about sets of 10 per side there. And last exercise we're going to go over, we're going to go onto our stomachs. So for this one too, you can get pillow or use your hands on your forehead. All we're going to do for this one, we're going to bend one leg up. We can reach back and to feel our glute activation before we lift up. And all we're going to do is come up and back down. Okay, so I'm not going very high. I'm not trying to really reach. I'm just going to be here, get glute activation, lift up, inch or two, back down. Okay, so activate, up, down. Okay, and then we'll switch sides after about 10. Same thing, making sure we're fully relaxing in between reps. Squeezing, getting that activation first, then coming up. All right, so those are just a few good exercises to do, just incorporate into your routine to make sure we're getting proper glute activation. Like I said, with the first glute bridge, there's a few different variations you can do as you progress in those exercises. Big thing is just, be self-aware, make sure that, if you are trying to progress to the next step, that you are realistic with yourself and you know that you're comfortable with the first exercise and you feel confident with it, you feel good about it. And when you move on, when you just be aware that you are doing things properly, you're maintaining your balance to your hips, you're not letting yourself drop, you're not moving too much, that everything's nice and solid as you're going through it. Because if you jump to the next progression and your form's not there and your stability is not there, then you're not really getting the proper benefits from the exercises. So just be self-aware and be honest with yourself with these exercises. They're very simple. I know it's only a few exercises, it doesn't seem like much, but if this is something that you can incorporate, throughout your day, doing a few sets of these a day, you'll notice a big difference in just how your body's feeling in terms of, your quads and hamstrings after, you really have been pushing yourself. You might notice that you don't feel as tired or sore because you had that proper activation, and these will help you to go a long way.